Good morning, everybody. I think we'll start today. My name's Stephanie and I'd like to welcome you to Health HQ, both here today and online, so welcome. Before we begin, I would like to mention just a couple of points. Obviously, you might have seen this around the place. If you can, please ensure that you have already checked in with the QR code on your mobile device. Otherwise, we do have in-person sheets available if you don't have a mobile with you. Could you please ensure that your mobiles are on silent or off for this presentation? The last thing we need is for a lovely ringtone to be going off during this. Smoking is not permitted in or around this building. The nearest restrooms are located either end of this building on all 3 floors, so you can use those ones. There is no access beyond level 3 today unless you are doing a tour, so please don't try and go up further, you won't be able to go anywhere. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please do not use the lifts. We need to evacuate the building and assemble in front of the SAMRI building, which is to your right as you go out of this building. You will have the opportunity to ask questions from the student panel and the academics later on, so please save your questions till then. This session is being streamed and recorded on YouTube and will be available online in the coming weeks for you to view. And for those joining us online today, please make sure you're logged into YouTube so you are able to ask a question via the live chat. We'll be monitoring the online live chat so we can answer your questions when they come through. So I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the Kaurna people, the original custodians of the Adelaide Plains and the lands of which the University of Adelaide's campuses at North Terrace, Waite and Roseworthy are built. To get started, let's have a look at the Faculty of Health and Medical Sciences in more detail, including some of the facilities you'll be studying in, and learn where our degree offerings are positioned globally. Now that we've looked at the faculty as a whole, let's focus in on psychology. So the School of Psychology is ranked #1 in South Australia, in the top 200 globally and home to world-class research. It's now my pleasure to introduce Program Coordinator Associate Professor Peter Strelin, who will share his knowledge and his passion for psychology offerings at the University of Adelaide.
Thanks, Steph. Yes, I'm Associate Professor Peter Strelin. Welcome to everybody here and welcome to everybody online. I'm Chair of the Programs Board in Psychology. So what that really means is I oversee all the learning and teaching in our school. And I'm here today to talk to you about our 2 undergraduate programs. And the first one that I'm going to talk about is the Bachelor of Psychological Science.
I really enjoyed psychology in high school, and I think because of that, that really is what started my interest in it. And I thought straight away that I was going to do psychology further in university. My favourite parts about the degree are definitely the amount of flexibility it allows. A lot of the lectures you'll find are both online and in person, so it really helps if you've got a part-time job or other commitments. So far, I've taken electives mostly within the neuroscience domain, so I've also worked in the Ray Last labs down in the HMS building, and it really shows you how the theories that you're learning apply to the real body, the real person.
I love the research component in honours. So as part of our degree, 50% of our mark is our thesis, which is a lot of independently structured learning, because you get to choose what sort of study you want to do, on what area, and what design as well. I guess my favourite thing about the whole degree was that I get to add to the literature and help other people.
I think the degree has really helped me prepare for the future in the way that it's helped me explore all these different facets of psychology that I'd never considered previously. You really get to see the way that psychology is integrated into the world more than you'd think.
So I should have given you a heads up there that first you're going to see a video of students describing their experience in psychology, and at the end we've got some students here with us who can also tell you about it and answer some questions. But I'm here to tell you about some of the details of actually doing the Bachelor of Psychological Science. So this program is a 3-year program, and you can start in February or you can start in mid-year. I'm going to flip forward to another slide and I'll flip back to that one. So in this 3-year program, you're going to get introduced to the key areas in psychology, and these include memory and mental health, learning, social psych, motivation and emotion, intelligence, personality, developmental psychology, research methods training, which is a big part of the program, biological bases of behaviour, and cross-cultural psychology. The really important thing about this particular program is that employers are increasingly really interested in students who have a fundamental knowledge about human behaviour. If you think about it, psychology is everywhere. And so when you get out into the workforce, employers are really keen to be able to employ people who do have some fundamental knowledge. In addition to that, you're going to be developing research skills. You're going to be developing the ability to critically analyse claims that people make in the media, when people make claims about research and so forth. And another key thing about the program is that you get to choose from 35 different majors and electives. Once you have completed the 3-year program, you're also eligible to be able to go and apply for our 4th-year honours program. So in terms of what's involved across the 3 years, in the first year you would do 4 core psychology courses and 4 elective courses. In the second year you would do 5 core psych courses, and you can either select a second major then, or you can continue to choose from a variety of electives. In third year you do 4 core psychology courses, including our capstone research methods course. You can select 4 courses you can do more psych if you want, or you can do electives. And if you've chosen to undertake a second major, the electives in third year would consist of second major courses. Here's a list of our 35 options for majors. Now, I won't go through all of them, but you can see there that is really quite a range. So it's a fantastic generalist degree, our 3rd-year program. And as I said, when you come out with a 3-year degree in the Bachelor of Psychological Sciences, you're going to be very attractive to employers who are looking for the sort of skills that you're going to develop in this program. And this is just a flavour of some of the areas that our graduates find themselves working in. And as I said, you have the option to apply for further study to become a registered psychologist, and there'll be more about that later. The other program that we have is our Bachelor of Psychology Advanced Honours program, and this is a 4-year program. So this program, in this program you're going to solve high-level problems and analyse human behaviour. You'll have the opportunity to develop listening, empathy and interviewing skills in particular courses that are set up just for this program. Other courses that are unique to this program explore cyber psychology and social media and address real-world global issues. You'd also gain experience with psychological testing and counselling and have the opportunity to design your own research project at 4th year. So a key thing about this particular program is that the ATAR is 90 plus, and there'll be more about that later on. And to stay in that program, you need to maintain a GPA of 6. Across the 4 years, this is what the program looks like. So you'll do 4 core psychology courses and 4 electives. And in first year, this is where you'll have one of your courses is unique just for this program. That's looking at technology in psychology. In second year, you have 5 core psychology courses, and this is where you do your unique course, which is international psychology. In third year, you do 8 psychology courses. So hopefully you're seeing here that this program is basically geared to doing pretty much mostly psychology. There's opportunity to do electives, but it's mostly psych. And at third year, the unique courses in this particular program are focused on research and career readiness skills. Presuming that you maintain the GPA of 6 across the 3 years, then you would automatically go into honours, and that's where you do your own research project. And you do great in honours, and then you have the opportunity to apply for masters. So across both of our programs, a feature of studying psychology at the University of Adelaide is that Adelaide is well renowned as a research institute, and psychology is full of world-renowned researchers. And so what that means is that our teaching is informed by our research. And so you'll be able to be taking part in leading research within our school. You'll be able to be exposed to developments in big data, to be able to develop project and communication management skills and be prepared for leadership, research, policy or practice. And our school is roughly broken down into 3 main research areas, as you can see here: health, disability and lifespan, brain and cognition, social and organisational psychology. And so our research areas strongly inform the teaching that we do. In terms of career opportunities, and I'm flipping back here now to the advanced program. Once you've done the 4 years, you have the opportunity then to apply for master's level courses. So if you want to become a registered psychologist, you actually want to register as a psychologist, you need to enrol in a master's program. So that's another 2 years after master's. It is highly competitive, but you do a great job in honours, and then you have the opportunity to apply. So students with the 4-year degree under their belt, this is the advanced students, They are prepared for roles in areas that require high-level critical thinking and an understanding of human behaviour. So you might say that the advanced program has higher expectations and is geared more towards developing graduates as leaders. And so they're going to be working in human resource management, in government and policy, in mental health services, in youth work, family and social services, relationship counselling and more.
I think one of the main...
Okay, I believe I'm handing back to you, Steph. Thank you for listening.
All right, thank you, Peter, for that information. So here's just a quick video for our graduates in the program.
I think one of the main things about psychology is that people always assume that, oh, you know, you can read people's mind, but people are so complex. Every client is really, really different and their needs are really different. So what I do for one client might be completely different to what I do to another, depending on what they need. And as part of my job is, I guess, assessing what they need and what I can do to help improve their quality of life. And also, more importantly, to understand what their goals are for themselves. I'm a behaviour support practitioner and provisional psychologist at the Centre for Positive Behaviour Support. So I work with individuals with a psychosocial disability and support them in managing their challenging behaviours. Studying at the University of Adelaide, I think the crucial thing was developing those critical thinking skills, logical reasoning, and what was interesting is that we are evidence-based, so allowing the data, allowing the research to drive our practice. What I love about my job is that every day is really, really different. Some days you'll be out in the field working with children in schools, or sometimes you'll be working with individuals in the community, like in a cafe, or in supported employment, or in supported accommodation. And so it's a whole variety of things that you don't know what to expect. Every day is a new day. So my role not only is that working directly with clients, but it also extends to the supports. So that includes their parents, it could be their teachers, it could be their support workers. And then making sure that they feel supported and equipped and better, I guess, managing the client's challenging behaviours, or better to improve overall quality of life. Providing training sessions to teachers, providing all sorts of different resources, like having visual schedules, reward systems, giving them physically that they can also implement in the setting they're in, whether it's at home or at school. I think what makes me most passionate about my job is actually the clients. Seeing them achieving things that they haven't been able to do before, that brings day-to-day satisfaction as well. It really lifts your day as well. One of the biggest impacts that I hope to achieve, is just to help all clients, that are presented with those kind of challenging behaviours or do lack those skills for independent living, is to support them in the best way possible, being there physically and providing that support and hopefully help them achieve their goals. My name is Jason and I studied psychology at the University of Adelaide.
All right, so how do you get into these degrees? So there is just a lovely infographic here. Admissions to both degrees is solely based on the minimum ATAR or an equivalent course. There are no prerequisites for either degrees. However, you can see that the minimum ATAR differs greatly between both. As Peter mentioned, the advanced program is 4 years in total, inclusive of an honours year. So this means that students who gain entry into the program do not need to compete for a place in the standalone 1 year honours at the end of the 3rd year of their study. Here's another interesting slide which shows you how to actually become a registered psychologist, because it can be a little bit confusing if you've never sort of thought about this process before. For those who are aiming towards a career as a registered psychologist, this is essentially the pathway options that you have available to you. And you can see how our 2 different undergraduate programs actually fit into the 6-year study sequence required for registration. So, as I said, the further study options, there is the Master of Psychology in 3 specialty areas at the University of Adelaide. They are clinical, health, and organisational and human factors. All Master of Psychology programs at the University of Adelaide prepare graduates for registration as a psychologist with the Psychology Board of Australia. So, what's it actually like being a student in the Faculty of Health and Medical Sciences at the University of Adelaide?
We're very blessed in Adelaide to have a strong learning environment and culture. Both staff and students are very supportive of everyone reaching a certain standard, and the exciting thing about working in health is that you're always a part of a team.
Now that I'm in second year, I've signed up to become a peer mentor, which means I can interact with first year students to help them feel more comfortable as they transition into uni life.
There's a buddy mentorship program that I've met people through, and when I was in younger years they'd help support me and inspire me, and they've honestly almost become like my family in a way.
When I was looking for guidance on my subjects in about year 2, I spoke to the support staff in the Helen Mayo building, and they really helped me figure out what was best for me academically but also for my future careers. It was really good knowing that I'm not alone and I have got support from the actual faculty.
The cohort I went through with are really great. We're a supportive group, we have a Facebook chat, we organise catch-ups, coffee days, and we study together, which I think is really important. Especially coming up to exams, it's great to have that support network and that study framework too.
What I've found from the first day up until this last year is that the lecturers are actually there for us, and they actually really love to help us, and they're always there for any questions.
I was quite nervous moving interstate to study this degree, but I was rest assured within the first week that I was well supported by lots of colleagues and like-minded people, and there was lots of events as well that helped me build some lifelong friendships.
All right, so this is the faculty support that is offered to every student in the Faculty of Health and Medical Science, and our aim is to transition you to your future study as smooth as possible. Our dedicated Ask Health team, which I am a part of, are here to support you through your studies from your first day of enrolment to the day that you walk on stage to graduate. There are dedicated support services available for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders to assist you through the application process and throughout your time with us as well. The scholarships team at the University of Adelaide lists available scholarships for all prospective and currently enrolled students on their website. We encourage all students to take some time to have a look at the website and apply for any scholarships that you may be eligible for. We also want you to have fun and to have a rewarding experience with us. Getting involved with student clubs and societies will give you an opportunity to challenge yourself, expand your social connections, and enjoy your time at the University of Adelaide. With over 100 clubs to choose from across the university, there's literally a club for everyone. gets an opportunity to hear and meet from our current students in these psychology programs. They'll be able to share their experiences as a student in the University of Adelaide and answer your questions about what it's like to study psychology here. We'd like to keep these questions very broad, so if you have any very specific and detailed questions, please save these for one-on-one conversations, or you can email us and we can answer you via email. For those of you in person, please raise your hand if you have any questions. For those online, please type your question and we'll be able to read it out to the audience. So today we have Kerry, we have Ruby, we have Henry, and we have Wayne. And so to get started, we'll just ask each of you to introduce yourselves, brief background of experiences, which degree you're in, and then we can open the floor to questions.
I can go first, I guess. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah, great. My name's Kerry. My background is in government project management. I came to the University of Adelaide because I had a keen interest in psychology, and my pathway was quite different to most people. So I went through a foundation course to get into my degree, which is why I chose the University of Adelaide, because it offers that. I'm currently in the Bachelor of Psychology Advanced Honours program, and I think that might be enough about me for now.
Hello, my name's Ruby. I came to Adelaide straight from high school, so I achieved the ATAR requirement and I entered the Bachelor of Psychology Advanced Honours program and am currently in third year.
Hey, I'm Henry. Similar to the other two panellists, I'm in the advanced program, and I came from straight out of year 12 to study psychology.
Hi, I'm Wayne. I come out of construction, actually, and I applied for the Bachelor of Psychology program, and I got a year into that, and then I used my marks from the Bachelor of Psych program to transfer into the advanced program. It was a really good pathway for me to do, and I chose the University of Adelaide because I have connections with my family who have had a degree here, and their peer connections from their lecturers and their students last to this day, 15 years, and there's a great culture, a great binding of people, and that's what I really found really important.
All right, thank you. So do we have any questions from the audience or from the online audience that they would like answered by the student panel? Don't be shy. I know it's very intimidating being in this very circular room. It is known as the fishbowl, but if you've got any questions, please feel free. Or alternatively, they are having an information booth just outside in the atrium area, so you can always come up to these students and discuss some questions one-on-one if you would like. Or, as I said before, there is the actual online and email that you can email through a question if you think of it as soon as you've left here or you don't feel comfortable asking it in such a crowd. But I guess I have a question that I would like to ask the students. And one of them is, how do you find your first year transitioning from coming from sort of outside and also from year 12? So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Wayne, thank you.
Well, I've come from a totally different culture. So I haven't come from school. I've come from outside in a working environment. It was different, very different, but very supportive. I'm able to study full-time, looking after 3 kids, with a family, and support's always there at the uni. There's always someone to talk to. In first year, you get calls throughout the year from the faculty to make sure you're going okay, ask if there's any problems, can we help you? That's really helpful, I find. Your tutors, going through last year, they go out and beyond to get everything happening, to give you the things that you need to do well in your degree. So there's plenty of support there. The culture's great. It's really, really good. I'm really happy I chose the University of Adelaide. So.
I guess I'm a bit of a unique case because I came in last year and that was COVID, so it was very different going from high school to university. But more generally speaking, I was surprised about how much the Bachelor of Psychology Sciences was very similar to my Year 12 experience. So I think that's a really strong, positive indicator. If you are enjoying psychology right now in Year 12 or Year 11, it's very similar to what you're going to do in first year, which is great because you've got that experience of being able to do it in the past, so it's not completely a whole new world when you come to university. You've got some sort of familiarity. And B, it's like, if you enjoy psychology now, then it's very similar to what you're going to do, study here, so. And also, as Wayne said, like, I came in with the misconception that university was very much like, you're on your own, you're just going to have to get through independently, but there is so much support, just from the students and the peers, and peer support. Every week there's a class you can go to where a peer who took the class last year goes over course content with you, and tutors are always willing to email out, and yeah, there's always support out there. Thank you.
Yeah, just continuing on from what these guys have said about support, there definitely is a lot available, and it's sort of about finding that support in early on in the first year, and sort of using that to your advantage. I think that although there is support, it is still more independently led than Year 12, so I think it's important to find sort of a routine and structure that works for you, and to try to keep that as much as possible throughout the year, so that unlike school, it's very 9 to 3, Monday to Friday, whereas uni, you can, your timetable is a bit variable, and then you balancing other things like your job and social life, so it's important to keep a little bit of a structure and a routine that works for you, to get the most out of the courses.
Yeah, like Wayne, I guess my experience was really different. So I came from the working world into university, and I was really excited, but also a little bit apprehensive about what is this going to mean for me? How am I going to write an essay? How am I going to submit assignments and all of those sorts of things? But like everybody else has said on the panel, the support is available to you. Yeah, it's important to proactively go out and seek that support, but there is an array of people that you can ask, and everybody is too willing to help you. So I found that that's been paramount at this university.
Thank you. So I guess I've got one more question, or is there any online questions from the online audience at all? No? Is there any more questions from the actual audience? Yes, I see a hand.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm interested to hear about the tutorial support that you get, because it's a little different to speaking with the lecturers themselves. Do you find that the skill set that the tutorials had and the knowledge they had was effective for you?
Who wants to answer that one? Henry. Oh, thank you.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I think all except with the exception of 2 of my tutors have been master's students or honours students, PhD students, and they definitely do have the knowledge behind. In psychology, mostly you don't have tutes every week. It's only every second week or every third week, but still the tutes themselves are fairly interactive, so they're a bit different from the lecturers or from any class that you usually would do in high school, in that usually they give you some sort of activity, and then you do the activity for about maybe 50-60% of the tute, and then you reflect on how the activity itself was, playing mind games with you somehow or teaching you the course content. So it's a lot more interactive, I'd say. But yeah, definitely, they do have a very strong understanding of the knowledge, and you can always reach out to them. The first thing that always comes up in tutes is their email address, and they're always available to come up.
Good. All right, are there any other questions? No? Well, I guess my question is, again, for the panel, this is a personal question of how are you finding the transition to a very different learning environment sort of post-COVID, which I guess would be a bit of a a question on everybody's mind in this sort of climate, because obviously COVID has made us all change the way that we're studying and the way that we interact at university. I know that we've come back to university this year and it's great seeing everybody, but I guess how's your personal experience sort of changed your approach to your studies? Kerry, thank you.
No worries. So for me, my first year was pre-COVID, so I was on campus, I was learning my way around, how to find the classrooms, connecting with my cohort, and then COVID hit and we moved to online. I guess I was really impressed at that time at how efficiently we moved to online and the support that I still received during that time. Since moving back onto campus, so it's been a little bit of a mixed experience. So some online, some classroom, and we're slowly moving back into the classroom. I felt supported all the way through from my tutors, from my lecturers. I know that I can contact anybody and that anybody will be available to help me.
Yeah, I think that there's a nice combination of online and in-person learning at the moment, and that can work really well for some people. It's sort of just about adapting to that. It was a change, but there was definitely support to facilitate that process and make it easier for everybody.
Yeah, I guess there's not much to add from what the other two have said, but one thing I would say that there is like an opportunity to do completely online classes or completely face-to-face after COVID, so they've left that opportunity to, I guess, access classes online, because I know quite a few of my friends who come from rural backgrounds who live out, they've actually really enjoyed that opportunity because it means they get to see their parents more than like 2 months time a year straight. So there is that option to like go online and access classes that way. But apart from that, I mean, I guess it really won't be applicable much because we're going back to a lot of face-to-face by the time everyone else in this room will come to hear if they do. But I think the main opportunity is to treat everything like it is face-to-face. So, for example, when exams went online, I think it was very easy to sort of think like, oh, well, it's going to be a lot easier, it's open book, it's online. But I think the main thing is to treat it as if it is going to be face-to-face, because ultimately it's what they want you to know, and the sort of knowledge that you would get from doing a face-to-face preparing is, yeah, what that's like.
I think Neville covered it quite well.
Yes, sure.
Actually.
Yeah, no worries. So again, this is Degree Finder, so if you want any more information, you can access this website and it will give you a lot more information available to you. And it will go through in depth what we've discussed today, as well as, you know, the entry requirements, the actual entry points. So whether it's a sort of start of the year commencement, middle of the year commencement, or just start of the year commencement. So feel free to have a look through Degree Finder in your own time, and you may find other degrees that you're interested in at the University of Adelaide while you're here as well.
Were you paying?
So what we'll do is we'll say goodbye to our online audience. Thank you for joining us today. And in terms of the health audience that is here in person, please feel free to just stay for a moment while we just finish off the presentation. Thank you.